Are saints people who lived a long time ago, who wear funny outfits, pray all the time, and unrelatable? Maybe that's what you think, but I hope today's video will help give you a new picture. Our first 4 weeks of our Rest a While series were dedicated to connecting with God in a meaningful way through prayer. Our next 4 weeks will be learning to connect with God in a meaningful way through the example of young people who are on the journey to becoming saints in our church. In the Catholic Church, there's an in-depth process to investigate someone's life who is being considered to be a saint. There are 4 stages: servant of God, venerable, blessed, and finally a saint. The first step is called being a servant of God, which is when our church investigates what the person did and said and compiles a report. In the second step, a person is called venerable when, after this report is generated by our church officials, they declare that this person lived a life of what is called heroic virtue. Now let's break down that phrase. A virtue is a good habit, like being generous, having courage, or forgiving others. What does the word heroic remind you of? The word hero, right? So heroic virtue is excelling in the good habits of our faith in such a way that we can look up to him or her. In the third step, a person is called blessed when there's an authenticated miracle that is attributed to the prayers of that person. And then finally, a person is called a saint when another miracle is attributed to the prayers of that person as well. By the way, the letter for today is I. Today we are going to focus on Blessed Carlo Acutis, who was born on May 3rd, 1991 in London, England, where his parents worked, but they soon moved to Milan, Italy. At age 4, he liked to visit churches to visit Jesus and kiss the crucifix, and would bring flowers to place at the feet of a statue of the Virgin Mary. It surprised his parents as they were not really practicing their faith. His growing faith actually inspired his mother, Antonia, to return to the practice of her faith, and she became a catechist, a teacher at religious formation. After he received his first Holy Communion at age 7, he went to Mass every day and prayed the Rosary. He brought his parents and relatives to Mass rather than what often happens, which is your parents are dragging you to Mass. He stood up for other kids who got picked on at school, especially those with disabilities. At age 9, he became interested in computer programming and even taught himself more about that subject. He learned video making and animation. He was an ordinary boy. He liked to laugh and joke with his friends, even made little videos for them. He liked to play PlayStation, but made limits on the amount of time that he would spend on that system because he didn't want to become enslaved to it. He tried to make the effort to overcome his weaknesses, such as eating too much or talking too much in class. He would keep a journal about his efforts to improve. He said, quote, "Our real battle is within ourselves." He lived his life for others. He and his mother brought food and blankets to the homeless of Milan, and he would get help from his friends for this as well as other projects around his parish. After he received his confirmation, he assisted his mom with religious formation, though he saw that the kids in the class had trouble with the concepts because their parents did not take them to Mass. He said, quote, "The Eucharist is my highway to heaven." He knew that if we really understood the amazing grace of the Eucharist, which is really Jesus and not a symbol, people's lives would be transformed. He then began a project and eventually a website to catalog the Eucharistic miracles of the world. These are times when the host, which looks like bread, but is actually Jesus, will bleed or be transformed into heart tissue. Pretty crazy stuff. Check out the link in the description box of this video for more. At age 15, unfortunately, he got leukemia, a form of cancer, and he was in a lot of pain. But he continued to smile and tried not to complain. He united his sufferings to Jesus on the cross for Pope Benedict XVI, who was the Pope at the time, and for the whole Church. 1 week after his diagnosis, he died in 2006. He said, quote, I die happy because I did not waste my time on things not pleasing to God. Powerful. His funeral was packed with friends and strangers who were touched by his life. His mother received many accounts of those whose lives were changed due to the witness of his faith. On the 4-year anniversary of his death, his mother Antonia gave birth to twins at the age of 44, which she saw as a miracle from her son. From listening to Blessed Carlo Acutis' life, what strikes you? How can it inspire you to take another step in drawing closer to God in this time? Maybe prioritizing coming to Mass at our new church, or watching virtually with your family? Maybe reading more about a Eucharistic miracle in the link in the description box below and asking yourself, what do I believe about the Eucharist? Until next time, don't forget to rest a while with Jesus.